Hey there, y'all. Bunkle here. Hope you've been having a great day. This video, I'm going to be opening up. I got two rack packs. 1984 Topps Baseball. Now, great thing about going through these, first of all, these are considered pre-junk wax, or what some would call absolute vintage. Where the line of demarcation is, I can't exactly tell you. Because the way that I know it is these cards were also heavily produced, and of course you had Donruss and Fleer out at that time also. You had all different other companies trying to get into the game also. You had sticker sets and all sorts of other just nonsense that was being put out by the sports card companies. So how you really define junk wax or vintage, I really can't tell you. And I could tell you that going through what packs that people consider junk wax, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, no matter what, there's a ton of great stars. There's also a bunch of duds. There's a bunch of baseball stories, and I guess that's the best way to look at it. Baseball, so baseball card collecting, sports card collecting, baseball itself was a completely different game in many, many different ways. It was a lot rougher. You still had pitchers that, you know what, you don't get the ball until you take it on my cold, dead hand. Come in with your spikes up, knock down the catcher, whatever it might be. I mean, it was definitely a rougher game. Now, to some people, that might be a worse time. To others, it might be better. I personally prefer the better. That just seeing the way the game was played then, it was a lot better. There were no 9 pitchers in a game, and somebody comes in to pitch for a half an inning in the first, and then somebody else, the real starter. You know what? Whatever. Maybe I'm a purist. I can see the I guess concept behind having a designated hitter in both leagues. I think that makes sense. Having a designated hitter just in the American League and not in the National, you know what? It was a good experiment for a while, but I think, you know what? Either let the pitchers hit or just let there be another batter up there. I mean, one way or the other. Of course, you have fluky pitchers that can occasionally hit. I mean, you think like Shohei Ohtani that can absolutely do both. But there were other pitchers that could hit also. Now, the good thing about back in the day, I guess, is if the pitcher hit, it kind of kept him honest. You know he wasn't going to come too far in. You know he wasn't going to intentionally hit a batter or anything like that. Because you know what? Could be the next time he's at the plate, he takes one to the side, he takes one to the arm, to the ribs, to whatever. So I think pitchers were a bit more careful then because they were the ones that were getting hit by the ball. Now, sure, if they meant to hit you, they meant to hit you, and if you went and you hit them afterwards, well, that's how the game was. It kind of balanced itself out. Anyway, enough with baseball and baseball history and all that fun stuff. Let's get into baseball cards here. 1984 Topps, as I mentioned. Now, the key to this set, the card that you want to find, especially in a PSA 10, would be the Don Mattingly. The Don Mattingly rookie is the one that leads this set completely. Now, I will say, just to back it up a little bit, junk wax, prior to junk wax, even today from some of the cards I've seen, centering was horrible. So keep that in mind when you're looking for that PSA 10. Centering does count. Okay. Now the Don Mattingly, over the last year or so, it's been all up and down in the range. I've seen that a couple PSA 10 sold for a little bit near 800. Others earlier in towards early last year might have been 1100, 1200, 1300, 1400. So there's been a bit of a softening, I guess, as far as prices, although who knows what's going to happen next week, next month, next year. Other great cards that you'll find, Nolan Ryan. You have an early card of Tony Gwynn, early card of Ryan Sandberg. Those are absolutely great to find. A ton of other Hall of Famers, of course. Your Mike Schmidt, your Wade Boggs, your Ricky Henderson, tons and tons. Yastrzemski. It's funny because I had to think about Yastrzemski and Schmidt. Look at Schmitty right there. Now, these packs also had that great all-star card there, which also do carry some value, again, if they're in PSA 10. Now, funny enough, just, again, taking a step backwards. After the Mattingly, you have a couple of common cards before you have Nolan Ryan. This is because of centering, where 99% of Charlie Puleo cards from that year were off-centered. So you're going to have a set collector, maybe they were, 1984 was the year that they were biggest into collecting or whatever it was, or the best year that they could remember. So they want to put together a set of PSA 10s, and they'll pay up for the ones that are perfectly centered 10s, especially if there's only one in the world. Well, only one up to that particular date and time in the world. Tim Loudner, third place as far as that goes. Then you got the Hall of Famers Ryan and Gwynn. You have the Indians batting and pitching leaders, Harvey Keene. 1983 highlights, then John Tudor before you get to Ryan Sandberg. Then you have a couple others that were, one or two were decent players, Chili Davis, Randy Moffett, Jim Acker, Larry Herndon. Not everyday names that you know from going through a baseball history book just briefly, but ones that had, of course, they made the majors, that's for sure. They were in the major leagues. From what I know, y'all ain't. Neither am I. So they might not have been superstar status, but they were playing. They contributed to their team. Now, thinking about Mattingly, of course, I do wonder if the price is going to go up higher when he finally gets into the Hall of Fame. Just thinking about what happened having Scott Rowland in the Hall of Fame right now. Not that he was a bad player. The Hall of very good, but the fact that he got in before players like Mattingly, like Dale Murphy, like Dave Parker, like Jeff Kent, you know what? I don't know what's on their minds. Unfortunately, as all that voting, it's above my pay grade, and maybe they know something I don't. I don't know. Anyway, let's get to opening these now. As I said, I got two of these rack packs here. I got a stack of frappers on the side, and I do have some top loaders also, just in case I pull something great. Now, looking at these, I don't see any super duper ooper stars on the back nor the front, except for, of course, the all-star cards. Now, I got my Wall of Fame ready also. And if you notice, I'm using a pair of handy-dandy scissors on this one. Okay, let's start off with the first one. Now, I am going to put the all-star cards into a frapper, just because. And I'm going to go through anything that's not up on the Wall of Fame a bit later, just to see if maybe I bypass something that could be, if it is in PSA 10, worth something, worth a decent value, where it could be resold and more cards could be gotten, because definitely can tell you this is not a cheap hobby. Got Del Crandell, Mickey Hatcha, a little bit of a flippage going on there, Jamie Easterly. Now you can see the centering on that is way off. Bruce Berigny, Alfredo Griffin, Rick Sutcliffe, Bob Stanley, Keith Moreland, Carney Lansford, great third baseman, Kelly Paris, Mel Hall, Brian Downing, Rick Camp, rear and back to throw in there, Randy Bush, and we have the Orioles leaders, Cal Ripken and Mike Boddicker. All right, Ripken's going to go up on the wall. Ooh, no, it's a Jesse Orosco all-star card. Now, Orosco was actually a really good pitcher. He was a great reliever. Not Hall of Fame, but definitely somebody that you knew in the game. Danny Darwin and Tom Underwood. Now, this is actually well-centered compared to many of the other ones. So let's get the Orioles leaders. We'll keep that off on the side for right now. And we'll get the Yaz in a frapper also. I'm going to keep the All-Star 1983 All-Stars off to the side there. There's only going to be 2 of them, so I might as well keep those 2 together. And we know who they are because they're right there on the top. I will say that as far as consistency that I've seen, and I do remember that in 84's, that you did always find the All-Star card on top. I think Topps got a little bit sloppy a few years later, where you might not. Occasionally you might find one mixed somewhere in the middle. So yeah, and that, maybe by trying to mix up the cards more, they got a bit more sloppy. I don't know. Okay, we're starting off with Rich Gale, Dave Anderson, Julio Franco, all right, Marshall Edwards, Matt Keogh, Louis Pujols. Check out those stripes, the colors on this. Now, I do like it's just a nice, clean design, having the little headshot picture there. Player somewhat in action, might be a spring training game. I mean, look at those empty stands. This is what the backs look like. So you have the team, you have career stats, you have some little blurb about them. So that's pretty cool. All of their personal statistics and data is also there. Little story. Dateline, June 12th. So that was Jamie Allen's Dateline. Ooh, that's a nice one. That's a really nice one. Now, centering is definitely off left to right there, but I'm going to frapper that one up. Nolan Ryan deserves a frapper. Got Charlie Hudson, Jim Sundberg, Sparky Anderson, crusty old manager. Looking at this picture, he reminds me of kind of Leslie Nielsen. I don't think Sparky Anderson had that sense of humor, though. Jim Clancy, Doug Frobel, Dave Bergman, Ivan De Jesus, Vern Rule, Dale Murphy. Now, another one, Hall of Famer. Should be. And we got our Jamie Easterly card. I'm wondering if I should... you know what? I'll get back to it later. The Dale Murphy, because I like saving the Dale Murphy cards. And even though he never made his way over to the Yankees like half the major leagues did, mostly anybody that was any good. Murphy never did, but still a great player. All right, we're starting off with a Yankee, Bobby Meacham. Tucker Ashford. I was just speaking about Dave Parker. That's, again, great player. I mean, I don't think pitchers really enjoyed seeing him at the plate, that's for sure. Dan Maya, Ed Vandenberg, John Wathan, Jim Wilford. Our earned run average leaders, Adlai Hammaker and Rick Honeycutt. Yep, here today, gone tomorrow. Got Leo Hernandez, another Adlai Hammaker. We just saw his face. We get to see his face twice. On the earned run leaders card and the regular card from him. There you go. Pretty cool. Jack Morris, great pitcher. Ron Davis. Ooh, okay. NL active career hit leaders. Rusty Staub, Pete Rose, and Tony Perez. Big Red Machine, 2 of them, although by that point in his career, Tony Perez was with the Phillies. I'm going to frapper that up. Elias Sosa. Ooh, nice. And that's a nice one, too. Very nicely centered. I think that's the best one out of the bunch so far. Now, again, this is the Tim Loudner card. Now, I'm not sure why. This card right here, and I have my laptop right next to me as I usually do, but this is one of the higher price cards in a PSA 10. And yeah, that is a PSA 10 I'm looking at right there. And that sold for $417 January 3rd, 2022 in a PSA 10. So somebody must have really wanted to put together a set. The PSA 9, the most recent sale, again, paying attention to PSA's website, which, again, I'm planning on putting together a video because it's such a mess as far as the way that they have their things listed and shown on there price-wise. I don't really have that much confidence in it, but without something else to go by, it's what I have. But in 2017, a PSA 9 of this was sold for $4.40. I'm sorry, it's a PSA 8 for $4.40. A 9 has never been sold. So I'm going to frapper that one up anyway, and at least to keep it to the side. Got Steve Kemp. Because you know what? If Tim Loudner, if I got it graded and paid whatever, 20, 30, 40 bucks, whatever it costs, and then flipped it out, I don't really care if I have a Tim Loudner card in my collection. I'd much rather sell it to somebody who's interested. Got the Steve Kemp and the Nick Isaski. So hopefully there'll be another set collector out there that wants a Tim Loudner and a PSA 10, for whatever that might be worth. But still, just considering the hobby and what packs cost and being able to do these videos, it sure would be great. One of those could buy a few boxes, so definitely worth hanging on to. I'm going to check corners and edges later, but they do look really good. They do look really good. So maybe top load that for right now. And I'm going to take these under a scope later and go up against a card measuring tool that I use also. It's available online. Just to really take a look-see at that. I'm going to definitely keep that one off to the side. Doesn't go to the Wall of Fame, but definitely needs a top load. Now, Pete Rose, I definitely would put up on the Wall of Fame. Great player. You know what? Let me get that Ryan. See, the Ryan centering is... That looks off to me. I don't know, y'all let me know what you think, but it looks like it's off right to left and a little bit top to bottom. But more so right to left off. So far, I think the best centered card is the Seaver. And I'm not going to waste your time looking the PSA value of that one up. Not right now. All right. Get the opening pack number 2 here. Now, I probably should have made some space because I said I was going to be lining up those next to there. And I think, you know what, that actually makes sense. Put Seaver and Ryan together. Okay, now Schmitty's going to go into a frapper. Alex Trevino. Craig Reynolds. Ooh, John Montefusco. Not what we're looking for. Buck Martinez. Why did I say Rick? Lee Lacy. There we go. Again, I talk before I'm thinking. Jim Anderson. Orlando Mercado. Andy McGaffigan. Tom Brennan. Dale Murphy, all-star card. Nice card there. Jim Rice. All right. It's another great card. Jay Johnstone. Brian Clark. Steve Nicosia. Don Robinson. Andre Dawson. Yeah, he's going to get a frapper. Al Holland. And Ned Yost. He's just going to get a frapper because he's off-center. He looks like he's about to fall off the edge. So put him in between there. Uh-oh. Looks like Cal Ripken's falling through the slot there. I really got to get this reset up again. I need to take a weekend and get myself reorganized and resituated into a spot where I could do these videos properly and things aren't just falling all over the place. And I got to get that done soon. All right. Starting off here with Marshall Edwards. And another Yankee, but not the one we're looking for. Matt Keogh. Louis Pujols, Jamie Allen, and another Nolan Ryan. Look at that. Although the centering on the first one is definitely better than the second one, but I like two Nolans. Spike Owen, Frank LaCourte, Jerry Martin, Jerry Remy, Mike Norris, Dick Tidrow, and we got the Andre Dawson All-Star card also. That's great. Ed Giroux, Scott Fletcher, Rafael Landeskog, Rupert Jones, and a Schmitty. Nice. Off-center, definitely left to right there. Roy Howell and Max Venable. So we got a couple really nice pulls in that one. Get a couple more frappers out of the package here. All right, I will keep that one next to the Seaver. For now, the Dawson All-Star. That's nice. Yeah, the first Ryan deserves the holder. The second one, I don't... That's definitely further off top to bottom. Looks like Nolan's falling out the bottom there. It's exactly what I meant by bad centering. Anyway, we'll get to the last part of this second pack. Ooh, Bob Horner. Now, Bob Horner was, I guess you'd say, Dale Murphy's partner in crime in Atlanta. I mean, that 3-4 punch that they had, Bob Horner was an incredible batter. Definite power. If Murphy didn't get himself in, Horner would, or vice versa. Now, there goes one of my favorite players of all time. That's the Rickey Henderson. That's a nice early card of him. That's really nice. Nice sharp condition. Also, centering looks good on that, too. I'm not sure where that falls on the PSA list, but I'm sure it's definitely over $100 in a PSA 10. Got Mitchell Page. All right, we got an A's pack going here. Billy Allman, Greg Luzinski, Freddie Lynn, and a second Henderson highlights card. Very nice. Very, very nice. Top to bottom is definitely a bit weird there, but I'll frapper that one up anyway. Rick Rhoden, Joe Morgan, another Big Red Machine player, Bill Verdon, Keith Hernandez, and there we go again. With this one is the NL Active Career RBI leaders, not the hit leaders, but the RBI leaders. And we got Tony Perez in there again and Rusty Staub. Kind of a replay of the other one, except without Pete Rose. All right, we got Lance Parrish, Lee Smith. Now, that's an early card of his. Yeah, his rookie is a couple of years before that, but not that far back. Hall of Famer there. Tug McGraw. Now, don't he have... His son is a country singer, if I'm not mistaken. Rags Rigetti. Great card there. Very nice. Early card of his. He was a great starter that then went down to be a great closer. Bill Buckner and Bob Horner. So no Mattingly in this one. Although y'all could help me here and give me a minute while I frapper these two up. So that's a great one. And I do think this one right here, let's see. Yeah, that looks clean. That looks really clean. Some good centering going on there, too. I'll measure that up. But from the look and feel and front centering, back centering is a little bit off that way also. But the front centering looks really good. That's kind of odd. But okay, I'm going to be top-loading this one also. I just got a good feel about this, and I'll measure it out later. As I've said in several other videos, I'm working on putting together a stack. I don't know how many is going to be and exactly where I'm going to submit to. But yeah, I'd say, you know what? A bunch of great cards were pulled out of here, but these were the 2 stars. Those two right there. Nolan Ryan, Rickey Henderson. Now, the Ricky actually looks better centered looking at it than the Ryan, just top to bottom as well as left to right. So that's probably got a closer shot to a 10 than the Ryan does. Now, let's compare the Henderson to the Tim Loudner. I don't believe it. This is like the only time in history that Ricky Henderson would be compared to Tim Loudner. But yeah, the Tim Loudner actually seems and looks even better centered than the Henderson. I mean, y'all tell me if I'm seeing that wrong, but it really looks like it. So that could be a 10. That could be a 10 also. So all in all, this has been a great pull, great pack rip. I have some more 1984s that I'm lining up, as well as some 83s, some 85s, 86s, 87s, as well as a bunch of other things. So make sure you keep watching. Definitely want to say I appreciate everybody who subscribes. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do now. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that. Hit that bell button. Ding. All of that great stuff. Comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any players that you would have put up on your wall of fame I didn't. Maybe something I missed. Whatever the case might be. Anyway, y'all take care. Stay well. Stay blessed. Bunkle out.